The college football playoff reveal is out for this week as we are in week 13, and there's a lot to get to. And to be honest with you, I think we have one of our first egregious mistakes by the committee here. David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback, Blaine Crain, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver joining us. Guys, look, we can get to the back end stuff. We can get to the group of five stuff here in a second. But I think when you look at the reveal, and I want to go over it real quick, just in case you haven't seen it, it's Arizona State 25, Tulane 24, Houston 23, Missouri 22, Illinois 21, Tennessee 20, Virginia 19, Michigan 18, Texas 17, Georgia Tech 16, USC 15, Vandy 14, Miami 13, Utah 12, BYU's at 11, Bama falls to 10, Notre Dame's at 9, Oklahoma's at 8, Oregon's at 7, Ole Miss is at 6, Texas Tech at 5, Georgia at 4, A&M at 3, Indiana at 2, Ohio State at 1. Typically, guys, what I do when we've done this, and again, if you're not subscribed, we're almost at 200K, so make sure you hit that sub button, is I just open it up and tell me just your initial thoughts.
What is it? Just tell us. What is it?
How, in the name of everything holy and righteous, is Notre Dame ahead of Alabama?
Mm-hmm.
How? In what world? I know
you
Alabama
knew this was
going to
happen.
I know, but I knew Bama lost last week. We all know that. I don't care if they lost 5 seconds ago. The glazing of this Notre Dame team has got to stop. And I'm not saying Notre Dame is a bad football team. I'm not saying Notre Dame doesn't deserve to be in the college football playoff. But good God. I mean, Notre Dame's best win is USC. Bama's best win, they went into Georgia and beat them. And there's some secondary wins that I think are as good as Notre Dame's best win. Look at the losses. Alabama's worst loss, obviously to Florida State. You look at Notre Dame and their 2 losses, it's not like they're the worst in the world, but so you're telling me you weigh good losses over great wins. David Cohn, I'll start with you. That is a crock to me, dog. I always try and keep it real. Y'all know that. Whatever. I am shocked. I am legitimately shocked. It's the AP poll. All they did was the top 11 from the AP poll. Minus Ole Miss and Texas Tech. It's the same damn thing.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, look, this sport has a recency bias problem. We talk about it all the time, but that doesn't seem to have applied to Notre Dame this year, because when they lost to Miami, they didn't drop out of the rankings. When they lost to Texas A&M, they didn't drop out of the rankings. Now, granted, those were not college football playoff rankings. Those were AP rankings. But to your point, they're identical at this point, because clearly the committee is being influenced by the polls that are coming out before them, because there's very little difference. And again, I'll say what you just said and what I said on yesterday's show, and I've had a lot of people reach out to me, mostly in agreement, and that is, I like this Notre Dame team. I think the defense has come along. The offense has been really good ever since whatever that was they tried to do against Miami. I think this Notre Dame team could do a lot of damage in the college football playoff. And at the end of the day, their job is to get the best teams in. But at some point, I don't understand it. And it's not just the Alabama thing. This goes all the way back to me on being ranked so high ahead of Miami, who still has the head-to-head victory above them. But, I mean, look, there's just a bunch of stuff in here, guys. That's just one thing. But Blaine, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, there's zero reason why Notre Dame should be ranked ahead of Alabama. And I've said this multiple times. It's not about who you lose to, but it matters when you lose, right? And that's what it is. It's not surprising. I mean, there are a couple of things that jump out to me. Other than that, I just don't know how Utah's at 12.
Like, I don't either.
I don't know
how is Utah ahead of Andy?
Like, it's getting worse, and I'm getting worried, because if they are getting influenced by the AP poll, then we're all screwed.
Yeah, that's a good point too. But talking about a team that just lost and you punish them, I'm looking at Texas at 17 in both polls. Someone explain it to me, please.
No, look, it's this is what we worry about with these people they have making these choices. This is why. And to your point, David, and if you've ever watched our show, go watch our Notre Dame preview with Brian Driscoll. We don't hate teams. There is not we're not a fan of this team, so we're just going to say, no. We just want to be right. We want it to be right at the end of the day. Notre Dame, it has nothing to do with the players. It has nothing to do with the fans. It has nothing to do with the coaches. And Notre Dame, if it works out, there's a really good chance they're going to be in the college football playoff, and I can understand that. But to me, it is so blatantly obvious, Blaine. It is so blatantly obvious. We have got to get these old-ass people, and we have got to get the non-ball knowers off of – we got to get them out.
It's just funny.
We got to get them out. And here's the thing, though. The table's been the top, 7? Anybody could do that with what's going on now.
Well, even on that one, I'm like, I don't really understand how Texas Tech jumped Ole Miss.
Look, and again, if we're arguing over that, right? I can understand it, but 5 and 6, you're still in, right? We can talk about hosting and this and the other, and it's important. I'm not saying it's not. Once you get to 9 and 10, that's the bubble. This, because a group of 5 team has to get in.
And ACC. And this is the thing, like they were talking earlier on the ESPN about 8, 9, and 10 really matters because it makes a difference between if you're hosting or not. Forget that. There's no ACC team in the top 12 or group of 5 team. Both of those are going to come in. So you could, there's a legitimate scenario. I was talking about this with a Notre Dame fan. He's like, forget Notre Dame and Miami picking between them. They may both be out if BYU goes and wins the Big 12 championship game and they still take Texas Tech and there's 2 from the Big 12. And then you have an ACC team and a group of 5 team jump them. You could get Notre Dame moved all the way back. That's why being at 9 ahead of Alabama at 10 is huge for them.
Well, that too, and look at the respect they're giving Utah. So, Utah's not going to play in the Big 12 championship game.
No, and they have 2. I'm pretty sure cakewalks in the year. It's just
that's what I'm saying. Utah's going 10 and 2.
When they were talking on the show, they added a new chair and also added the athletic director from Utah.
Right, and great. Well, Hunter Check at Arkansas is the chair now, but they added the Utah guy. I believe that's how it went down. But this is what, and to Cone's point, he's exactly right. So right now we can pin in Ohio State. You can pin in Indiana. You can pin in A&M. I think you can pin in Georgia. You could damn near pin in Texas Tech. We talked about that one back and forth. You can pin in Ole Miss. You can probably pin in Oregon, even if they lose to USC. I think there's a pretty good chance they get in. Oklahoma as well. They got to win 2 home games. But what happens? What happens when Texas Tech goes 11-1, BYU goes 11-1, Utah goes 10-2, and BYU, if they beat Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship, what happens? They're going to put 3 Big 12 teams in there?
At this point, if you're Miami, how can you even jump Utah? You can't even win out and jump Utah.
There's no way.
No,
right? Right? Forget jumping Notre Dame.
But the main point, the main thing I think we can get from this one is they are setting themselves up for failure. With this one, you have set yourself up for failure instead of setting yourself up for success by letting teams and ranking teams that you think have a chance to lose a little bit in the back. And you didn't do that. What you've done now is you've given Utah an incredible platform to cry and complain if they get left out at 10-2. You've given Miami an amazing megaphone to get upset about even when they don't play in the ACC championship game. I'm to the point now where, what has to happen? Does this have to be the French Revolution? Is there a Versailles that we can just storm the gates of?
Who does Notre Dame know? Who do they know?
Well, yeah, it's one thing if it's like Notre Dame up against Virginia or Georgia Tech and it becomes a brand thing, which all of us are against, and it's one of the things about this sport that I hate most, but at least then you could say, okay, that's been going on for a long time. But when you're talking about Notre Dame and Miami, there's a head-to-head, and Miami's a big brand. Or Notre Dame and Alabama, for God's sakes. It's not a brand thing at that point.
Bro, so, what's the deal with Alabama? Can we just for a second acknowledge what's going on? We talk about this brand bias and stuff for Alabama. In the past, I guess yes, but right now, dude, it looks like it's lost its flair.
It lost last year. They picked SMU over.
They picked SMU over you. Now they're putting Notre Dame over you. At
is
what
that
point,
is that an absence of Saban thing?
Yeah, that's because
it's got to be right. Let's just be honest. If Nick Saban was the head coach at Alabama, they don't pick SMU over him last year, and they for damn sure don't put Notre Dame in front of him this year. I'd be willing to bet it would be Oklahoma 8, Alabama 9, Notre Dame 10 every single day of the week if Nick Saban was there, which is bullshit on its face. But to me, Cone, I'm sitting here looking through the rest of it, and it'd be one thing if it was bad for like the first 10, but then it evened out and you could say some positive things. Dude, I have
No, it gets
nothing
worse.
positive to say.
It gets worse. And
like-
before I even get to the bottom half of this, there are a couple more things here. And it gets back to this 11 through 15 range. So Miami, I mean, unless you guys think this applies to Miami and Vanderbilt right now at 13 and 14, unless you guys think they can say, oh, you know what, Miami going on the road back-to-back weeks to end the year and beating Virginia Tech and at Pitt, that would be good enough to jump a Utah team that is not playing the same sort of competition, or Vanderbilt right now. Vanderbilt's on the outside looking in, but we've all agreed if you go on the road and beat Tennessee in Neyland Stadium to end the year and you're 10-2 in the SEC, they've got to find a spot for you.
They have to, because Utah, I believe they have Kansas State left in Kansas.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And if Vanderbilt
exactly right.
I don't know if Pitt will even be ranked by the time they play Miami. And if you're Vanderbilt, who's your two losses to? Texas and Alabama?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
on
then
the
that
road.
gets to
road.
the USC and Michigan thing. Forget if both of them, because at some point there'll just be too many spots and teams got to get left out. But let's say USC goes on the road and loses to Oregon, but Michigan wins out and beats the Buckeyes in the Big House. You're 10-2. You might even be in the Big Ten championship game at that point. There's got to be a
right?
spot.
You would be, right?
Yeah.
Well, what would have to happen? See, what really needed to happen was USC needed to lose to Iowa and then beat Oregon. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you need because Indiana at this point is still ahead of you. You would have the head-to-head over the Buckeyes. You need a situation like we talked about in the SEC today for Oregon not to take your place with a win over SC.
Can't wait to do this video.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't know, we did
That's the
SEC
rudimentary
tiebreaker
version.
video today at 2. It's the next one up.
But then the group of 5 thing, guys.
Where's James Madison? I don't get it.
What is going on with the Sun Belt? What do they have against the Sun Belt?
Look, as somebody that coached in that league, I'm going to be honest with you. I was surprised. I was not shocked that Tulane was there. Because they showed their cards last week. They showed their cards last week. Like, they put South Florida ahead of James Madison. Like, so again,
James Madison played Louisville and lost by 2 touchdowns on the road, and then they've won everything else, right? On the Tulane point, Tulane lost to their Power 4 opponent. Well, they did beat Duke, but they lost to Ole Miss 45-10, and then they also have a conference loss at UTSA. So I don't understand what the deal is against James Madison.
I can understand Tulane getting in over James Madison.
Well, what about North Texas? They're in the same league, and North Texas has a better record.
They're going to have their chance, right? Like, it's shaping up right now.
So you're talking about in the conference championship game?
Yes.
Okay.
So, like, to me, quabbling over the group of 5 right now is just it's coming out of the American, man. Unless everybody just loses, unless Tulane and North Texas and Navy all lose again, it's coming out of the group of 5. Is coming out of the American.
If I'm James Madison, that's crap, though.
No, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just telling you that's what it's going to be. But to me, to Cone's point, Texas being in front of Michigan's nuts.
Nope.
Tennessee being at 20. I don't understand that. To be honest,
moved up.
But you did have like a bunch of people lose between like 19 and 25. But it was the Tennessee being there before. And again, you beat Vandy, it'll work itself out this side or the other. Like, here's the thing though. What happens if USC beats Oregon?
Yeah, we got a mess, because if they beat Oregon, then they're both going to have 2 losses. USC is going to have the head-to-head over Michigan, who could go on the road and beat Maryland, and then obviously they're setting themselves up to host the Buckeyes.
Where does the USC jump stop? You know what I'm saying? Like, Alabama's playing Eastern Illinois. So if USC beats number 7 Oregon on the road, correct, they would jump Vandy, they would jump Miami, they would jump Utah, they would jump BYU. Like, where does it stop?
Maybe. I don't know. That's where there's no consistency right here between two lost teams and then going back to one lost teams and then back to two lost teams, then back to Georgia Tech. And Georgia Tech fans, I understand your frustration right now too, because you're like, wait, 16, Miami's ahead of us at 13 and we have a better record than them. But my thing with Georgia Tech is, and this is one positive aspect to being able to play Georgia out of conference at the end of the year, is that's a great opportunity for a top 4 win for you and still possibly make the ACC championship game.
Yeah, well, to me, if you're a Georgia Tech fan, it's about winning the ACC.
Sure.
It's about getting the automatic bid because it's like, again, if you beat Georgia, I think you get in, regardless if you win the ACC championship or not. I really believe that at 11-2 because that would be such a monumental win going, quote unquote, neutral site game against the number 4 team and beating them. But if you're an ACC team at this point, outside of Miami, I guess you're only, if you're Virginia, the only way you're getting in is winning it.
Yep.
Like you're not, that's the only way. For Georgia Tech, I think there's a little bit of wiggle room. I actually, and this may be a crazy take. You may think it's a crazy take, but even with Miami at 13, I think Georgia Tech has more wiggle room than Miami to get in without winning the ACC championship.
Well, again, that's because of your top 4 opponent, and you took them to 8 overtimes a year ago. And what's the beauty about that is, again, you could possibly win that game to make you look good, but not hurt yourself in conference. That's a great opportunity.
Yeah. The Texas Tech jumping, and this is setting up, if you look at my playoff projection, for exactly what I had happen. With Texas Tech finding a way to get a top 4 spot, they win this last game. I think they're on the road at West Virginia. Then you got the Big 12 title game. What's going to be interesting is if Georgia does not play for the SEC championship and Texas Tech wins the Big 12 championship and goes 12-1, I mean, you would think Texas Tech would get that 4 spot, right?
Yeah, have to, right?
I don't know. I mean,
after winning
with this,
it would have to be, right?
After winning your conference. I would think so.
I think it would.
I mean, they've been playing all year, and your one loss, your quarterback was hurt. If you go into your Big 12 championship and you beat BYU's ass, I don't think there's a way they can really keep them behind Georgia. And the real question, I don't know why they jumped on Miss. There's no logic behind it, to be honest. You talked about Oregon. What if Oregon loses one more game?
Well, that's what we were saying, but I want to bring up something that a guy that we've tried to get on the show multiple times, we just had trouble connecting and basically playing phone tag, is Greg McElroy said something that I thought was just a little bit extra. I don't know if it was because he played at Bama, and he said that they were showing Oklahoma love by jumping them up because they realized their quarterback wasn't 100% during the games they lost. I just think they jumped Oklahoma up because they just went on the road to beat Bama. And they've got an equal record. Like, do you feel like the committee was like, John Mateer got hurt, so
I don't think so.
That was out of left field to me.
Yeah, that was a reach for sure. I mean, I think I'm fine with Oklahoma where they are.
What other 2-loss team would be ahead of them?
I don't know.
I mean, other than Notre Dame, they could just
not one.
That part would never surprise me. But again, back to your point on Alabama being at 10. Now, keep in mind, Alabama's at 10, Georgia's at 4, but Alabama right now controls their destiny more than Georgia does in conference. So Alabama not only gets a chance to play for the SEC championship game if they beat Auburn, but you go on and win that. How's the SEC champ not going to be a top 4 seed? So if you're beating Texas A&M and Georgia's on the outside looking in at 11-1, again, how can you move Texas Tech up? Does Texas A&M fall by losing that conference game? That's going to create an interesting scenario for seeding right there at the top.
It will, and again, it's splitting hairs between that 4 and 5, which we know is important because that's who gets the bye. I guess the best way to put it, kind of as we're wrapping up here, again, make sure you hit that subscribe button, is here's what upsets me about it. And again, I don't know any of these people personally. I'm sure they're great people on the committee. It's just when you cover the sport for a living like we do, and you've basically lived and breathed it your whole life, and then you watch this group of people come out with this decision, it just... Man, doesn't it feel like we could have better people in place doing this? Like I'm not the fact that we have current ADs serving on this thing with people with conflicts of interest, some of the people they put on there just to say they put a certain type of individual on there. Like, doesn't college football deserve better than this?
Yeah,
Like as much as we like it's, and I'm not even saying we need to be involved in there. I don't care. It'd be great if we could.
We need to be involved.
Like it's so unfortunate that the greatest sport that God has ever given us, bestowed upon us, and the greatest way it's ever been laid out, and that's in college. The most important part in deciding the fate of who wins the most important trophy is in the hands of people who, and I'm not saying all of them, because I know there's got to be some ball knowers in there. It just feels like the CEO's son just got like a top job. Like it just.
This is why the committee meetings need to be televised. If it's all just a television show and you want ratings, make that the TV show. Everyone would tune in to hear what your justification is. We've said this for years about penalty reviews, and what the ACC do? They actually listened and said, okay, let's let people listen into the reviews. It's been one of the coolest things about college football this year. Let us listen into the committee's justification for these.
They'll never let it happen.
No, I don't think they want transparency. I to be honest with you,
like, you got a better chance of getting in Lockheed and Martin. Than
it's just a little bit of a.
That's why we got to press it. We got to press it.
Yeah, look, see, hold their feet to the fire. Speak truth to power. You know how it goes. But anything else? Anything else?
This
what a mess!
Disaster.
Hey, get your brooms, boys, because it's a mess.
Somebody call Marty Huggins.
Final
He's working
Destination movie, y'all.
Yeah, but all right, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you keep sharing the show. Got our prediction show tomorrow for Week 13 with Andy Staples from On3. Check out all our content before this. We may have a preview of a rivalry week game coming out. We may be jumping the shark a little bit, but hey, at the end of the day, at least you tried to jump them. So make sure, again, you're locked in. We appreciate you.